was an extraordinary first season, and I want to bring out some of the people who made it so extraordinary. So I'll bring them out one by one, and let's start with the Kingslayer, Ser Jaime Lannister. Next we have Jon Snow. The queen you love to hate, Cersei Lannister. And the imp. Khal Drogo, Jason Momoa. Queen Daenerys Stormborn. The two showrunners who have put all of this together and done such an amazing job. Big head and little head, I'm not sure which is which here. But David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So I have some questions for the crew here that I will be tossing to them one by one. And then at a certain point we will open it up for questions from the floor. So think of some good questions, but not for a while yet. So the last one comes first, so let's start with David and Dan here about how this all started. What was your first introduction to the books? How did you get involved in this madness?
Well, it all started in your twisted brain.
Well, yes.
And about 6 years ago, your agent, Vince Gerardis, sent us the books. February?
Close up your mouth. Hello.
The books were sent about 6 years ago. I'm ashamed to admit I hadn't heard of them back in 2006, and the first 4 showed up on the doorstep, and they were about 5,000 pages, and I just thought, wow, I don't know how I'm going to get into these, but I remember the scene that I did get into it, and it's basically what you just saw up there when Bran gets pushed out the window, and from that moment on, I was completely hooked. Had the same experience that so many millions of readers have had, where it's like crack on paper, you can't stop. And at the time, people said, people were talking about doing it as a movie, and various people from movie studios would call and say, I've figured it out, we've got it, I've cracked it, I know how to make this into a 2.5-hour movie. 2.5-hour PG-13 movie.
I think it'd be more like a 15-minute PG-13 movie.
Yeah. So we couldn't understand that, and I remember very distinctly calling you, George, and saying, the only way we can see doing this is as an HBO series, thinking you wouldn't go for it, and we got really lucky, and you went for it.
I think we're all very happy, and I think you folks are going to be very happy too that we did go that way. Emilia, a question for you. Your story is quite the Cinderella story. Like you came to this project right out of drama school.
Yeah.
Would you? I mean, if you could go back in one of these many DeLorean time machines you see around the thing and talk to yourself 3 years ago, what advice would you give about what lies ahead of you?
Oh my goodness, do exactly the same thing as I was going to do anyway. I don't know what advice I'd give myself. Take a deep breath and read George R. R. Martin's books. It's been incredible. It's been an absolute
Does drama school really prepare you for something like this?
No. No, there were no dragons at drama school, so yeah. I don't know. I think it was the thing that prepared me for this was Dany, like falling in love with her and just, the book, your amazing words and the amazing character that she is. That's kind of been everything that
has the show changed your life, or
yes.
Are you being recognized and so
No, see the hair. I kind of expected everyone to get out and be like, who is this guy? What? No. Although, actually one person, and I got, she gave me free frozen yogurt, so I was so happy.
It's going to get a lot of free yogurt.
One for you. You played a hero in the Saracana Chronicles. And now you're playing a character that many of these people hate. How is that different for you? How do you prepare for that as an actress? Which do you prefer?
Well, it's kind of fun to be able to play a character who isn't trying to be morally good. So it's kind of fun, you know what I mean? I'm not playing to please anybody, but I have to say, people coming up and saying, I hate you, it's kind of horrible. I thought I could handle it.
Do you like Cersei?
I love her. I think she's misunderstood.
She loves her children.
She loves her children.
That's right.
Extremely misheard.
Nikolaj, this is your first Comic-Con, you just told me. Now, you starred in New Amsterdam, and you starred in Virtuality, and now in this. Are you a secret science fiction fantasy geek?
It's not a secret, no. I'm a fan. Yeah.
No?
I have to say thank you for coming. It's a ridiculous experience. I can't feel my feet. I don't know
I know as an actor, over the years you've probably gotten many good reviews and many bad reviews, as usually comes, but did anything in your past prepare you for the intense internet discussion of your nose?
I have a story. Years ago, I was in Iceland, and I shot a movie, and at the wrap party, the gaffer, the guy who controls the lighting, he came up to me really drunk and said, "Hey, I gotta tell you, when I saw that nose, I thought, shit, I'm in trouble." But I'm sitting here now. So.
Jason. I have to ask you this one. I have a serious question, but first I have to ask you this one, because you are in the geek capital of the world here. And I know there's a question that's on the minds of half of the people here, which is, and I've got to ask it, who would win, Khal Drogo or Conan?
Well, George, between you and me, Drogo would kick Conan. Drogo were here. Probably say something like, since there's no subtitles, you don't know what the fuck I said.
On a more serious note, we saw in the clip the incredible scene where you ripped out the throat of Mago. of course, a scene which is not actually in my books.
I'm sorry about that, George. It was it's all their fault.
But yeah, whose fault is that? That was an incredible moment.
You should hear who else wanted to kill.
Love that. How did that scene come about?
I went to David and Dan, and just because I finished Conan, I was like, I've just chopped off 100 people's heads, and I felt like we should. Drogo's just such a badass. I wanted just to do one scene, and I wanted to. The most intimidating thing to me would be to like not even use a weapon and just to take his weapons out. And if he said something to my wife, I had a dream, and I wanted to rip someone's throat out. This is only because I did Conan. I normally don't do this. You know? I have really nice dreams, so I'm like. Yeah, I wanted to do something so it looked like he was just the baddest man in the world, and you know, and you guys, and I'm sorry about that, and I hope you like it and don't hate me.
I love that scene.
Thank you, sir.
I love that scene. I think everybody here loved that scene. Peter. Congratulations on the Emmy nomination, and I think. Now, I'm often asked when I do signings who is my favorite character in the books, and I always answer Tyrion. And I know many of the readers say he's my favorite character too. What is it like to step into a situation where you have hundreds of thousands of people who already know your character and love him? Does that change your approach as an actor?
Well, I don't know if I even have approach as an actor. I don't know. But I think that everybody on this panel was faced with that. When we started this show, really big shoes to fill, and I think, yes, Tyrion is liked a lot, but so are some of these other characters, so I don't know. Yeah, it was terrifying.
I think we're, Kit? You realize that your poster is going up on the bedrooms of thousands of people.
Scares the crap out of me.
It's always been my prediction that you and Richard, Team John and Team Rob. You've been working with animals a lot, I've noticed, with a puppet horse in War Horse on the London stage, highly acclaimed, and with a dog playing wolf on our show. Would you prefer that we went with puppet wolves next season, or did you like working with ghosts?
Yeah, the thing about puppet horses is they do what they're told, which is kind of a big bonus. No, I love my dog. I love Cooper, or Ghost, as he's called. I don't know. Yeah, we got on very well. He just didn't do what he was told, and all he wanted was the bit of meat in my hand. But, so he's quite often wagging his tail, and he had his tongue out, but, not looking threatening or silent at all. But I think he did a fabulous job, really.
Did you, as I asked Emilia, this has been quite a transformation for you too. Is your life changing as a result? Are you being recognized? And
I got recognised in Costa Coffee the other day. I was buying a latte, I got recognised by someone. And it's more that they kind of get a bizarre kind of puzzled look of I'm sure I know you from somewhere. And then every now and again the question, have you read or you watched Game of Thrones? And at which point I say, well, actually, as it happened. But yeah, no, it's been remarkable. It's been an amazing journey. Absolutely.
Well, let's hope it's just beginning here. I know one question that a lot of fans have asked me, and I'm sure sure it's one we should tackle here. We are preparing the DVDs now, and David and Dan, what can the fans expect on the DVDs and the Blu-rays? Will there be deleted scenes and extended scenes, or special
expect
features?
Us droning on and on and on. No, there. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we didn't really have any deleted scenes, and we pretty much used everything we shot. It was a very ambitious and challenging schedule, and so as a result of that, it's not like there were a lot of things left on the cutting room floor. But the DVD team is putting together a lot of amazing supplementary material with art from Will Simpson, who is our storyboard artist, an old school 2000 AD comic book guy, Judge Dredd guy, Hellblazer guy, and he's done some really, really amazing work that's going to show up on the DVD that we're really proud of.
The thing I'm really excited about on the DVDs, it would be great, I wish we had it here, we could show you, but the first auditions for everybody here, what they came in and did with those scenes, we don't have them here, but they are on the DVDs. If you could see what Momoa does.
First we have to approve that, sir. First we have to approve that.
Yeah. Once Jason approves it and it goes on the DVD, because you need to see him doing, what's it called, the haka?
Yeah.
Get a little right now.
It's the dance that won him the role of Jason Momoa. And by the way, this is a good time to probably say thank you to the fans, because we were looking all over the world for Khal Drogo, couldn't find the right person, looking. We went on to, there are the different threads where fans recommend the actors that they like, and
Westeros.
It was all Westeros, and there's a whole Khal Drogo one, and someone had Jason Momoa. And no offense, but I hadn't heard of you before that. I hadn't kept up on my Baywatch, but they're coming here somewhere. I know there is. So we clicked up. The fan was kind enough to have a link with Jason's picture, and we clicked on that, and we thought, that kind of looks Drogo-y. And so we thought, why not? Let's bring him in. And he came in, and he read the scene, and then there's no dance in the actual scene. But Jason decided to show us how good he was. He was going to do the haka, and just like tore off his shirt and started doing it.
Is that something you want to see? So buy the DVDs.
Jason, what was it like? Almost all of your dialogue in the show is in a made-up language. That must have been an interesting challenge for you.
Yes, it was very interesting. Actually, when I went to the table reading and I met the 50 cast members, David and Dan pulled me aside and they're like, "Oh, we got this great idea. We think it's a good idea that we made this language because there's no way that the whole tribe will learn how to speak English." And and I'm like, "Well, that absolutely makes sense. We should, it's a good idea." Like, "Well, we have this language. It's like German, Arabic. I want you to listen to it." And it literally sounded like Jabba the Hutt and like Fozzie Bear. Waka waka. I was like, I really want this job. I won't do anything. I went back to my hotel and ordered a lot of pizza and got a lot of Guinness, and next thing you know, that's all it takes, a little bit of Guinness.
Worth pointing out that I did not invent the language. It was David Peterson is the father of Dothraki.
Yeah, amazing language, and it's so beautiful, and it was an honor to, it was absolutely the greatest acting achievement to learn something like that, and it was a true honor to be able to communicate like that with someone else and know what they're saying. And it was fun.
So was that your favorite scene? Your great speech in Dothraki was an amazing.
Yes, I mean that, George. When I read the book, I was like, it was the greatest war speech I've ever heard, and I have to have this role. So I mean, just reading that was an absolute. That was it for me.
I'd like to ask actually all of you, what was your favorite scene to film in the first season? What's the one that you got most excited about, and looking back on it, you're really pleased with it? Nikolaj?
Well, that Isaac was really annoying, so pushing him, no, that was no. Isaac is the sweetest kid. It was just a joke. There were, to be honest, I think there's so many great scenes. I mean, to get those scripts and read those scenes, I really liked my last scene with Catelyn. It was great to do that. And but, yeah, Kit.
Favorite scene? Probably the scene with Arya with Maisie. It's beautifully written, and it's also a really kind of wonderful, well, very sad moment for the character. I liked getting hot and sweaty with Richard and Alfie. That was quite sexy. And apart from that, I don't know. I had loads. The fight scenes were a lot of fun. A lot.
My favourite are still to come, because we just read some of season 2. But the first season, I really enjoyed doing the scene with Mark Addy, who plays Robert, and just because it was more revealing than I'd had a chance to do before.
And that's another wonderful scene that Dan and Dave contributed there. It's not from the book, so thank you for that scene, guys. Peter?
The one I'm on trial, that was fun. Because it was a long day and there's a lot of extras in that scene, and I felt like sort of a master of ceremonies for like a bunch of bored extras, so it was entertaining off screen, so yeah, that was fun.
And Jason, we know yours, so we'll skip over. Emilia, what the...
Hold on, there's a love scene there. I'm married, I ain't gonna do it, so that's kind of fun.
I think my one's pretty easy. I think it's definitely the final, where I get to meet my babies. That was just, amazing. But then getting to see it properly, like on screen, was, I mean, even just the sound of those dragons, like shivers, amazing, just how I thought it would be. So yeah.
Guys, do you have a favorite scene?
Well, you stole my favorite scene. So you know, I love a scene that all the ones that have been mentioned, also Arya and Syrio.
Yeah, I think we would be remiss if we did not at least mention all the people who could not be here with us today, but who contributed to the great stuff that you saw. I mean, the amazing crew and technical people who did all that fabulous work, and also so many cast members in this large ensemble. Maisie Williams as Arya. Harry Lloyd, who really did incredible things with Viserys. And, you know, I could go on for 20 more names here. Sean Bean, yeah. I'm very pleased with the 13 Emmy nominations, as I'm sure they are, but Sean was wrong. He should be up for Best Actor. So we could go on for hours, but we can't actually go on for hours, and so I'm going to devote the rest of this to questions from the audience. So there are, I think, microphones set up somewhere. I can't see what the light. There we are. So state your question, and someone will answer it.
Hey guys, love the show like everyone else here, and The show introduced me to the book, so I was wondering how many of you guys ran home after the filming of season 1 to find out what happened, or how familiar you guys were with the source material?
I know what happened.
Okay.
David and Dan, are you familiar with the source?
I was shocked. You know, that was shocked.
Yeah, well, I don't. After my first audition, I got the first book and devoured it in not too long a time, and then was obsessed with it and was ready to move on to book 2, but wanted to be with Dany as we were filming season 1. So I was very much like, I mean, seriously, my copy of the first book is like taught. It's got all my notes in. It's, you know, like, kind of was my Bible for a really long time. And then my celebration of wrapping season 1 was starting book 2. So I'm kind of going to go like as that, yeah. I'm really, all I want to do is just read ahead, but I'm trying to pace myself so I know where I'm up to. Yeah.
When I read the first book, I locked myself up for like 4 days, actually read it, was blown away, and like right when it came to me dying, I just like, was so in love with Drogo, I started panicking. I flipped through and I'm like, no way. And then I went to Barnes & Nobles and picked up the book and I'm reading it, and I was just so mad at you. I fucking hated you, dude. I was like, fuck this.
I obviously need some suit armor here. Bring him back? Okay, I'll take that advisement here. Who knows? He may have a twin brother somewhere. All right, do we have another question?
It's actually related to something you just said. Mr. Martin, why is it you're always killing off people's favorite characters?
Well, it keeps you on your toes. No, you know, I've always believed that I want people emotionally involved in my story, and when they're in a dangerous situation, just as you'd be in life if you were in a dangerous situation, I want the readers to be almost afraid to turn the page, not knowing who's going to win, who's going to die. I mean, we all know books and movies where, you know, the hero may seem to be in deep trouble, but you know he's going to get out of it because, after all, he's the hero, or they are the heroes if there's a group. And those shows are fun, but they don't really involve your emotions, and that's what I'm looking for.
Hi, this question is for Lena. Hi. Dang, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I say this every time. So for Cersei, how do you play all the different sides of her? The manipulative side, the side that loves her children no matter what, and how damn heavy were those wigs?
That's what I love about her is, and I know I've been criticised for giving her some humanity, but I think everyone deserves a chance. And I just think she's, you know, she's a confused woman who thought life was going to be something very different, and she just tries to cope with what is and hold on. And the wigs, part of the game.
First off, I have to say, Jon Snow, you know nothing. And secondly, whether you've read the books or not, I just want to know, all of you, except for you, George, sorry, how would you end the series if you could do it? Like, what would you do?
Zombie Drogo!
How would you end the series?
What do you want to happen at the end of book like 7 or whatever?
Well, I want Jon Snow to be on the throne, definitely. Yeah, but I mean, it's, you know, that's the brilliant thing, is it's so up in the air. Who knows going to be sitting there, and, you know, and he'll be dead and he'll be alive. And I I can't even imagine. I know what I want, but I think like in the books, probably everyone here wants the same thing. They want to be sat there. But yeah, who knows?
It's the end of the movie. There's been a big battle. You go to dark. It's black for 10 seconds. And it comes up, there's a sign that says 20 years later. It's a small cottage. Jaime and Cersei come sitting down. Finally, my love. And the music.
Khal Drogo back for sure, and have him and Tyrion co-rule. Because I think things will get interesting.
Dance number.
The new book is called The Dance with Dragons. All right, do we have another one?
Hello. I have a question for Jason, and I just want to say first that you're my sun and stars. How hard was it for you to do the fight scenes with that long hair?
You know, it was pretty easy. And maybe it's because I'm used to long hair, and I used to have to wear a dread wig on Stargate Atlantis, which was like 6 pounds, so that was just like a little rat tail. It wasn't very hard at all. Thank you, Moon of my life. What is on your shirt?
I've never seen that.
That is awesome. I want one of those.
I think everyone should have one of these because I have hope that you'll come back. For me, the moment that I was hooked was when Jaime pushed Bran. I was like, they're not playing around. So I was wondering for you guys, either reading the script or the book, what was the moment that hooked you in the show?
No, I had the same experience when I got to that moment. I thought, what the hell? But it was such a great. It's horrible, but it's dramatically, it's just perfect. I think it sounds weird, but you know, suddenly you're in that dark place. You know that all bets are off, and that's brilliant.
I think mine was. I think it was the scene that I've read somewhere that you George wrote first. I think it was the bit with it was right at the start. You know, after the prologue.
The discovery of the box.
Yeah, where they discover the thing. It was pretty soon in. I just loved that. That scene was my favourite. I think that's the bit that got me out. Anyway.
I like the very beginning of the show, that the White Walkers, all that stuff. I thought that was suddenly in this cold landscape. It was, yeah. And then I lost interest when I came on. My scene was over, and then I was interested again. Yeah, but I love the White Walker stuff, all that sort of supernatural element that sort of is on the periphery. I like that stuff.
We'll go back to the questions in a moment here, but before we run out of time, Dan and David, what can these guys expect for the second season? I know that a lot of them are eager to hear what the plans are.
Everyone dies. Sorry.
It was all a dream. Not this way.
I would say for the readers, they know much of what to expect. I'd say it starts to get a little bit, if we're lucky enough, if we have a season 3, that's when it won't start corresponding so neatly to the books, because Storm of Swords is just too big to do as one season. So we don't know yet whether it be 1.5 seasons, whether it be, maybe it's 3 seasons for Storm of Swords, Clash of Kings. We don't know yet exactly. For second season, we've got a bunch of great new characters coming in, and we've already got such an incredible cast, but, it's time to meet the Red Priestess, and it's time to meet... And it's time to see those dragons and wolves start to grow up a little bit. And there's bad stuff lurking north of the wall, and it's a season of exploration, I think. So, all leading up to, our hope has always been, from the very beginning, I remember talking about this with you, George, that we can keep this alive somehow. We can get to, there's a certain scene in Storm of Swords. I'm not going to say the name of the scene because the name itself is a spoiler, so don't actually yell it out. But you all know, if you've read the books, what scene I'm talking about. Let's call it RW. And we've always felt like if we can get to RW, we've accomplished something, And so it was terrifying, we pitched the show, we didn't know if it would go. We made the pilot, we didn't know if it would go. We made the first season, didn't know. Now we seem like we're set up pretty well. I think we're going to get to RW, and if that happens, then I can retire to my asylum.
Let's go back to the audience for the next question.
Hi, this question is actually from my friend Steve, who is a huge, huge fan of both the books and the show, but he couldn't be here today. So, he would like to know, for season 2, are you going to be able to film the Battle of Blackwater the way it was written?
George is writing it, so I certainly hope so.
We're going to pass my hat around to get some contributions. If any of you have an extra nickel or something like that, who knows, it may pay for a little special effects. Actually, the guys from, when I was signing earlier, the guys from WITA came up to me and said they were huge fans of the series and all that, and I asked them if they would like to donate several $1 million worth of free special effects, but for some reason they declined.
We're at the battle.
There will be a battle.
Yes.
Hello. As a fan of good writing, I know that the writer can't always do what's going to make the audience happy, whether it's on paper or on screen. So for you, Mr. Martin, when you wrap stuff up, being also a fan of people like Damon Lindelof, are you still concerned about, to put it in your words, pulling a Lost?
Well, I believe Damon is in the room, so I better be careful what I say here. Yes, I am concerned about the ending. I still have 2 more books to go, and I'm juggling a lot of balls, and of course there is the deep fear that eventually some of them are going to fall on my head and knock me unconscious or kill me. But all I can keep doing is juggling as fast as I can, and hopefully bring everything together in a magnificent way. I see it vaguely in my head as stretching before me. But it's easier to dream these things than to do them. But yeah, I certainly hope that the ending will tie together. And in terms of making people happy, well, hopefully it'll make some people happy. It will make people happy with the book. Although I've always been a fan of the bittersweet ending. And I've said before in interviews that's what to expect. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, and I love the scouring of the Shire. The fact that it was not a, hobbits dancing happily in the woods, the witch was dead kind of thing. That there was a cost to the war, and there was a human cost, and there's triumph, yes, but there's also tragedy mixed in the triumph, and I think Tolkien did it brilliantly. I hope I can do something half as good.
So my question is for Jason. I wanted to know what it was like transitioning from a sci-fi show to a fantasy show. Was the filming similar special effects things, or was it vastly different?
Yeah, it's vastly different. Let's be honest here. Sci-fi and HBO are over here, and HBO's over here. This is basically a 10-hour movie, and it was absolutely one of the greatest accomplishments, and I've never been a part of anything remotely close to this. I've never worked with so many great actors. I normally don't even like my producers, let alone the writers. And I just like worshiped everyone. I mean, you could show up to set and just watch. I mean, I love who I worked with on Stargate, but like literally, I mean, there's the two Americans, you know what I mean? You gotta watch all these fantastic. It was like going to acting school. It was really phenomenal. Just the level of talent was through the roof. But as far as sci-fi and fantasy, I love that genre. It's just that there's so many things you can do, like rip someone's tongue out of their throat and get away with it, and rape beautiful women, you know? And then have them fall in love with you, you know what I mean? Next question.
Well, I'd like to say, first, I love this show. It's my favorite show. And all of you are phenomenal actors. But this one's for Emilia Clarke. You play my favorite character, Daenerys Targaryen, and I want to know how you can portray such a strong but realistic and feeling woman. Because to me, I find you one of the most identifiable characters, and the way you portray it is phenomenal. So, do you have any pointers or tips or anything?
Oh my goodness, first of all, thank you so much. That's, yeah, amazing to hear. How do I... Okay, so when I read the books, Dani she just seemed, I don't know, very real to me. Like, I understood everything that she was going through and kind of her mentality and everything. So I just, yeah. So the tips I would give you is just like be, I don't know, be true to yourself. I don't know. I'm feeling all embarrassed now. Yeah, I just got her. So I would just say kind of, it's women, we're strong, we're good, we're powerful, we're sexy, we're like, own it, do you know what I mean? Like it was her instinct to be able to survive. I think that was fundamentally the thing that I got and kind of hopefully portrayed. But yeah, just be true to yourself. That's, yeah.
Lena, I just want to say that you were great on White Collar this week. I love that episode. I hope you're going to come back. But my question's for Kit. I think Jon Snow, he's obviously a fan favorite character. So I want to know what really drew you to the character, and what are you looking forward to the most in the upcoming seasons? Because he has quite a big journey ahead of him.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I suppose what I'm looking forward to is I'm trying not to go produce spoilers. I've already done that today. I think he's got, like you say, he's got a big journey ahead of him, and he goes beyond the wall. And I think I'm looking forward to the fact that in the first season he spends a lot of this time concerned with his family down in the south, and at the end of the season one, obviously he forsakes them, so he can actually get on with a bit of his own agenda, if you like. So I'm looking forward to that. And what drew me to the character is he's just, I mean, why wouldn't it? He's a badass with a sword. He's he's a mysterious little guy with a bit of a kind of mystery behind him. I kind of loved him the minute I saw him on paper. And thank you again. Thank you.
First of all, thank you all for such an amazing show. Just everybody, like, amazing. My question's also for Kit, and I'm wondering, I love you. Wondering if Mr. Martin has revealed to you who Jon Snow's mother is.
No, is the simple answer. I'd love to know, as I'm sure a lot of people would, but no, I have no idea. I haven't got a clue, so I'm sorry I can't fill you in there. But...
And if he did know, I'd have to kill him.
Our last question.
Last question.
Hi, my question's for Mr. Martin. Just wondering, there's two themes that we really don't see in the books, and that's good guys always win and the hero never dies. Just wondering, did you set out to kind of break those cliches, and if there's a character that you mourn as you kill them?
What was the last part?
If there's a particular character that you've mourned as you've killed them.
Actually, I mourn all the characters as I kill them. You know, when I write, particularly the viewpoint characters, I really have to kind of climb inside their skin to make them human. And so I'm writing about someone that I'm very closely identified with. In some cases, for many years, I began writing these books in 1991. So, you know, I've lived with some of these characters for 20 years, which makes it very hard when I do have to kill them. But I tell myself it's not me killing them, it's the other characters. And try to distance myself. But the scene that David and Dan were referring to in the third book, which I won't spoil, was the hardest scene I ever wrote. I mean, that occurs 2/3 of the way through A Storm of Swords, and it was the last thing written. I had to skip over that and write the rest of the book, and then only when everything else was done came back and make myself write that scene, because it was very emotionally wrenching and painful for me to write, as it was hopefully for all of you to read. And I can't imagine, I think when they film it and show it, I'm going to try to arrange to be out of the country during that period in some place that doesn't actually have television yet. Anyway, that was the last question, so we are unfortunately out of time. I know we'd like to go.